Only start streaming and not on recording.
Hi students. Hi students. Welcome back. If you are waiting for the 2021, today is 24th February Shift-1 paper and this is the right place. We are going to solve all the questions from the paper which are based on memory. So let us go to it. So what is the first question? If two identical capacitors, once connected in series and once connected in parallel, then find the ratio of C1 by C2. So what is it? In series we know 1 by C equivalent is equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2. That is, if C1 and C2 are identical, this will become 2 by C, that is C effective is C by 2. Similarly, in parallel, C effective will be equal to C1 plus C2. So this will be 2C if they are identical. So what is the ratio of C1 by C2, students? It's obvious, that is C by 2 divided by 2C is equal to 1 by 4 is the answer. So let us go to the next question, students. The answer is 1 by 4 here. So let us go to the next question. If a transistor, in a transistor, if it increases in emitter is current is 4 milliampere and corresponding increase in collector current is 3.5 milliamperes, find beta. See students, this question is based on alpha and beta relations. What is alpha, students? Change in collector current by change in emitter current. What is beta, students? Change in collector current to change in base current. So we know that IA is equal to IB plus IC. IA is equal to IB plus IC. So this is given as 4 milliampere. So this is given as change in collector current is 3.5 milliamperes divided by change in emitter current is 4 milliamperes. So this will be, ratio will be 7 by 8. So then we can consider as this as 7x and this as 8x. So then emitter current is equal to base current plus collector current. Collector current can be considered as 7x and emitter current can be considered as 8x. So then what is the base current here, students? Is equal to 1x. So then what is beta, students, here? Change in collector current, that is 7x divided by what is base current change? 1x. So the answer is 7, students. So this is directly based on alpha beta relations in modern physics. So now you see the relation here. It will be, answer is 7. So next the question is, if small block of mass m is placed gently on m when it is passing through its mean position, find its new amplitude of SHM if initial amplitude is A. Students, this question is, if you are able to relate what is the velocity of the block at mean position, your answer becomes easy. So what is the velocity at mean position? And next, keyword, students, here, gently means what? There is no external force. If there is no external force, what will happen? The momentum will be conserved. Momentum will be conserved means what? Initial momentum is what? What is initial momentum? The velocity is a omega and initial final momentum is what? M plus m into v dash. So what is the momentum initially? That is due to m into v. That is, what is the mean position velocity? M a omega naught, which is the mean position velocity. And what is final momentum? M plus m into v dash. So v dash will be how much? M a omega naught by m plus m. What is omega naught? You know that is root over k by capital M. What is omega naught? You know that is root over k by capital M. What is omega? General velocity at mean position. That will be root over k by, because after that the two blocks it is oscillating. That will be m plus m. Students, now what we need to find out here? V dash is equal to ma omega naught by m plus m. So now what is the final velocity? V dash is equal to a dash omega dash. What is omega dash? Root over k by m plus m. And what is a dash? We need to find out. What is v dash here? Ma omega naught, that is root over k by m plus m plus m. Students, if you solve, you will be able to get the answer. So the answer is root over m plus m by m plus m into amplitude. So what is the important principle, students? Conservation of momentum and general velocity at mean position. So let us go to the next question, students. So this question is a repetitive question from previous, exactly the same question. This question is exactly the same question in 2014. This question is asked in gravitation. You can go and check it, students. If you are clear with that concept, here you can solve the question, students. Here two stars are rotating about their common center of mass. Find the period of revolution of m about center of mass. M about center of mass. So if they are revolving in a circle, there should be a centripetal force, students. What is that centripetal force? That is mv square by r. So what is the force, students? But gravitational force is responsible for the centripetal force. What is that gravitational force, students? Gm 2m by r square, that is distance between them. So what is the distance between them, students, here? So mv square by r is the radius of the circle. So they are rotating about center of mass. What is the distance of that mass of m? Will be 2md by 3m. So 2d by 3 is a distance between the center of mass and this m mass. So it will be revolving here. So gm into 2m by that radius square. Here what is that one? M gets cancelled. 2gm by 2d by 3 whole square is equal to v square by 2d by 3, students. If you solve it, what we get is so you try to solve this. This 2d by 3 goes by one time. This will be 6gm by 2d. So this 2 gets cancelled. So 3gm by 2d. So then we are going to get omega, students, here. So then what do we get here? Omega square is equal to 3gm by d cube. Then omega is equal to, time period is equal to what? 2 pi by omega. Substitute omega and you get the answer. So next, what is Vx minus Vy, students, here? What is Vx? Circuit is given, find Vx minus Vy. Students, this question is based on Kirchhoff's second law and very fundamental law. What is that? What does it say? First, Vx minus Vy. So if you can write Vx and current in the circuit is what? Net potential is what here? 6 minus 4, that is 2, by resistance is how much? 10 ohms. So the answer will be, current will be 1 by 5 amperes. So what is that? Now because 6 volts is higher, the current will be traveling in this direction. Now if we see, apply Kirchhoff law, students, here. So Vx plus 4 minus 8 into 1 by 5 is equal to Vy, students. So what is the answer here? So Vx minus Vy is equal to, when the current is coming in this direction, the answer will be plus 8 into 1 by 5. If you are going opposite to the direction of current, your potential will add. If you are going in the direction of current, your potential will subtract. So the answer will be minus 4 minus 8 by 5. If we take minus common, 28 by 5, the answer is minus 5.6 volts, students. So let us go to the next question. This is also an easy question directly based on Kirchhoff's second law. The answer is minus 5.6 volts, students. So now this question, find electric field at center of cube. Students, this point we have discussed a number of times in our video. You can go and check through Skyget app, where you can see all this similar kind of problems being solved in our daily one-shot revision classes. So this question, students, Find electric field at the center of the cube, students. Find the electric field at the center of students. So now you see this cube, students. Interestingly, what you can find is plus q plus q plus q plus q plus q plus q. So this q and this q, because of these two q's, electric field will be cancelled because they are diagonally opposite. And here, due to this 2q, electric field will be cancelled. So again, what are the things left? Between these two q's, electric field will be cancelled. These 2 plus cubes, electric field will be cancelled. These 2 plus cubes, electric field will be cancelled. So then the net is due to electric field due to these two of them. So one will attract, one will oppose. So electric field will be away from positive charge, electric field will be towards this negative charge. So what will be the answer is, so due to this charge, that will be kq by r square. Due to this charge, it will be k into minus q by r square. But they are in the same direction, so they both add up 2kq by r square. What is r here? Distance from the center of the cube to the cornermost point. What is that r here, students? That r is equal to, from Pythagoras theorem, this is what? Root 2a. This will be a, and the answer will be x square is equal to root 2a whole square plus a square. That will be 2a square plus a square, so 3a square. So r square is equal to root 3a. This is the distance between the entire diagonal. Diagonal length is root 3a. Diagonal length is root 3a. Distance from the center of the cube to the edge is how much? Root 3a by 2. So you substitute this equation here, students. 2kq by r is how much? Root 3a by 2 whole square. So this one will be 8kq by 3a square is the answer, is the magnitude, students. Is the magnitude, students. But carefully you try to understand, students. What is k here? 8q by 3 into what is k, students? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So this will go by 2 times. So 2q by 3 pi epsilon naught. This is the magnitude, students. But there's a little bit extension to it, students. What is that extension? Here it is given in the form of vector, not in magnitude. So vector is what? Along this direction. That is along this direction, equally in this direction, that is what? I cap, j cap, k cap in negative direction, students. So if electric field will be away from positive charge, students. How will it be away from positive charge? If it will be away from positive charge, so what will happen? Away from positive charge means it should be negative, isn't it? So we can cancel this. Just by elimination, this 2 gets cancelled. You don't need to solve, students, here. Even if you don't solve this question, this option plus and plus will have to get cancelled because electric field will be away from positive charge, students. Now what is the value? Either one of them, students, here. So we got the magnitude, students, but what you need to find out? Direction multiplied by unit vector along the direction. What is the unit vector? I cap plus j cap plus k cap, because equally it is in 3 directions, equal distribution. So I cap plus j cap plus k cap, uska magnitude is what? To make a unit vector, we have to multiply the vector by its magnitude. That is, unit vector is equal to magnitude of the vector by its own magnitude, x vector by x magnitude. So I cap plus j cap plus k cap by its own magnitude is what? Root 3. So our answer is what? 2q this one 2q by 3 pi epsilon naught into I cap plus j cap plus k cap, minus should be there, students, by root 3, because for unit vector you need to divide by its own magnitude. So the answer will be this one, students, minus 2q by pi 3 root 3 epsilon naught a square, epsilon naught a square, this is r square here, students, epsilon naught a square into I cap plus j cap plus k cap by root 3 students. Now students, so let us solve this next question students. If we consider this is the answer students here. So now what is the 7th question students? If width ratios is equal to 1 by 3, this is an easy question students. You might have studied the formula. The ratio of widths is equal to amplitude ratio. Have you studied students this formula? Ratio of widths is equal to amplitudes ratio. So now what is he asking? I max by I minimum. How can it be solved students? I max is what? A1 plus A2 whole square. I minimum is what? Because at the maximum amplitude, intensity will be maximum. So intensity will be maximum at what? A1 root over A1 square plus A2 square plus 2A1 A2 cos theta. Theta should be 1. That is, when phase difference is 0, the amplitude will be maximum. The resultant intensity will be maximum. So then root over A1 square plus A2 square plus 2A1 A2, that is A1 plus A2 whole square, will be the maximum intensity. Minimum will be A1 minus A2 whole square. From this ratio, we can take it as, this has 1x and this has 3x. So for maximum it is 4x whole square. For minimum this will be x whole square. That is 3x minus x whole square. So this will be 2x whole square. This will be 16x square divided by 4x square. So the answer will be 4 students. Maximum to minimum ratio will be 4:1 students here. So here students, maximum to minimum ratio will be 4:1 ratio students. So let us go to the next question students. This is the answer. So from given velocity, this is also a repetitive question from one of your previous year questions. You can go through the question students. So now what is this graph? From given velocity time graph, which of the following is acceleration time graph students? Which of the following is acceleration time graph? So if you see the students, here velocity, what did I say students in the revision one shot lecture? The same point is discussed in one shot lecture. You can watch after this video. So what is it students? Velocity time graph is given. The slope of dv by dt is equal to acceleration, isn't it students? If dv by dt is equal to acceleration, the slope of vt graph will give you acceleration students. If slope of vt graph is giving acceleration students, here the slope of vt graph should be acceleration students. So now these are two lines. What is the slope of a straight line students? If you might have studied 9th and 10th class, you know straight line slope is constant. So no need to solve the question initially, because slope is constant for this part and this part also slope is constant because it's a straight line student. So the answer of acceleration varying will not exist. If you would have answered these two options, there is no way that your answer is going to get correct, even if you don't know the concept at all. So these two will be eliminated. Now what is the slope here students? This is a negative slope which is constant. What is the slope here students? This is a positive slope which is constant. So negative slope, first should be negative slope, second should be the positive slope. So here first is positive, second is negative. Here first is negative, second is positive. The option is no need of solving any equation students. Just by your basic understanding you will be able to solve the answer. So what is the next question students? So, find the relation between modulus. If this question you might have missed it students, just by knowing the basic formulas of it you can solve students. By using the relation students, because this question needs detailed explanation. You will have detailed explanation in our video students. This question we have already solved in our video students. So what is that? Relation between y is equal to 3k into 1 minus 2 sigma and y is equal to 2 eta into 1 minus sigma. If you apply these two questions students and eliminate sigma from the equation, you will get the relation between y and k students. This is a stress applied. If you remember these two equations students, if you apply these equations and eliminate sigma from here, you will get the answer students. That is eta y by 9 eta minus 3y is the answer students. This question is a bit lengthy students. You should not solve it in the beginning. If you would have already solved previously, then it's okay. This kind of lengthy questions you should not select at the first attempt of your question students. But this is an easy question just based on formula. So what is the next question, students? So the answer will be eta y by 9 eta minus 3y. So this is the fundamental questions. This kind of question has been repeatedly come in previous year NEET and medical and mains examination, students. What is the concept, students, here? So question is asked, find the dimensions of beta. So before finding out what is the important relation, students, exponential principle of homogeneity you need to apply, students. If you know that principle, you can solve this question. And e power value should be not having any dimension, students. That means what? X square by alpha kt should be what? Should be what? Dimensionless. X square by alpha kt should be dimensionless. K is what? Boltzmann constant. That means L square by alpha into K into T is temperature. What is K, students? Boltzmann constant is what? If you don't know Boltzmann constant, just apply energy equation is equal to 3 by 2 kT. So then Boltzmann constant unit will be energy by, that is joule by temperature, students. So if you apply energy by temperature gets cancelled, students. So this should be dimensionless. So L square by alpha energy is equal to dimensionless. So alpha energy is equal to L square, students. Alpha into energy is equal to L square, students. So now what is here? By principle of homogeneity, students, work is having units of energy, and alpha beta square by principle of homogeneity should have same dimension, students. If they have same dimensions, what is it work, students, here? Work dimension is energy dimension. So energy is equal to alpha dimension is what? L square by energy, students, here is equal to what? Beta square. Nothing to do with the question. This is an easy question, students. So L square by energy. So L square is equal to beta square. Beta square is equal to L square by energy is equal to alpha beta square. Beta square is equal to L square energy square by L square. So beta is equal to what, students? Beta is equal to energy by length, students. So what is energy dimension? ml square t power minus 2 by L. So the answer will be ml t power minus 2, students. This is based on a simple principle, student. E power will not have any dimensions, and also what is the answer, students? Alpha beta square will have dimensions equal to work, students. So this now onwards, next question onwards, Vijay sir will take and continue the next question, students.
So hi students, and now we are going to discuss from the problem number 11, where you have the problem number 11 is he has given here the Zener diode, where the Zener diode is having a voltage across of 5 volts. Here, as you already know, the Zener voltage, or here the Zener diode always has to be in the reverse bias condition. So here this is the supply voltage, which is actually 10 volts, is and connected to the Zener diode in the reverse bias condition. Here the voltage across the Zener diode is given as 5 volts, where the supply voltage is actually at 10 volts. So here the resultant voltage will be 10 minus 5, which is 5 volts, as he is asking to find the value of the current across the 2 kilo ohms and resistor. So here, as you have from the Ohm's law, I is equal to V by R, as the value of voltage here is 5 and the value of the resistance is 2 kilo ohms. So 2 into 10 to the power of 3, it becomes 5 by 2 into 10 to the power of minus 3, it is 2.4 into 10 to the power of minus 3 amps, that is 2.4 milliamps. So here in this problem he has given a cube of a side A and it forms 6 sheets of the same area, and if the coefficient of the linear expansion is alpha and the temperature is T plus delta T, that is here you have to consider the change in the temperature, that is obviously at delta T, and he is asking the change in the volume. So here first you should know the relation in between the change in the volume and also this value of the alpha and also the change in the temperature, as you have the change in the volume by the actual volume is equal to gamma, where gamma is the coefficient of volume expansion into the change in the temperature. Here as you know the value of the volume is directly proportional. Here volume is equal to A cube. So here the relation in between the coefficient of volume expansion and also the coefficient of the linear expansion, what he has given here in this case is alpha. So here you can write the coefficient of the volume expansion gamma is equal to 3 times of the coefficient of the linear expansion alpha into the change in the temperature delta T. So here from this equation, as he is asking only change in the volume, from this equation you can write change in the volume is equal to 3 alpha, that is 3 times of the linear expansion into change in the temperature into volume. So bring this volume onto this side. So here as he has given the cube of each side A, then the volume of the cube becomes A cube. So 3 alpha delta T into A cube will be the change in the volume. So here we have this and option A. So here in this problem he has given 4 particles of mass and 1 kg are being an equidistant from each other. So these 4 particles are at the 4 corners of the circle and move on the circle of radius 1 meter. He has given the radius of the circle which is equal to obviously 1 meter. He has given that in the question itself, and under the action of the mutual gravitational forces, as these are the 4 masses, so there will be the force of the attraction, that is here the gravitational force will exist in between these 4 masses, and these 4 masses are moving in the path of the circle only because of their mutual forces of attraction, that is the gravitational force. So obviously first let us consider this mass at the top of the circle. Here what are the forces acting on this mass? Here there are 3 other masses. So these 3 masses will actually cause the force on this object. So first you have to find the total force because of these 3 masses. So first and let us take this mass. So force in between 2 masses is equal to the universal and gravitational constant into the product of those 2 masses by the square of the distance in between those 2 masses. So here what is the distance in between these 2 masses? Here this is the radius r, obviously this is also the radius r. So here the total distance in between these 2 masses is r plus r, 2r. And also if you consider the distance from these 2 masses, obviously these are an equidistant from each other. These 2 masses will be at the same distance from this mass at the top. So here as this is r and this is r, this would be square root of r square plus r square, which gives root 2 times of r, and in the same sense this is also equal to, here this distance is also equal to root 2 times of r. So here you can find the total forces, that is this force let it be F1 and these forces be F2 and F2. But here as these particles are moving in the path of a circle, there should be the centripetal and the centrifugal forces must be an equal and opposite to each other, which is equal to mv square by r. So mv square by r must be is equal to the forces between these 3 particles which always acts towards the center. So this mass is acting and towards the center and it is passing through the center, and no issue with this, but these are the 2 forces acting in this direction. So you have to take in the direction of the radius towards the center. So this you can take it as f cos theta, and this also you can take it as f cos theta. So it is 2f2 cos theta is the force because of these 2 masses, and because of this mass it is directly F1. So here first let us find the value of force F1, where you can write F1 is equal to G into, here this mass is m and this mass is m, as you have to make the product of those 2 masses m square by the distance here is 2r, so it is 4r square is the force because of this mass at the bottom on the mass at the top. Next if you consider the force because of these 2 masses which are actually same, so here you can write F is equal to G into m1 into m2, obviously m square by r. Here we got the value of the distance in between these 2 masses to be root 2r. So root 2 r square, that is 2 r square, but you have to consider the force towards the center, that is F2 cos theta. So it becomes F2 cos theta. So from this equation here, the theta is in 45 degrees, cos 45 degrees is 1 by root 2, and these two are the same forces of the same magnitude. So you can write 2F2 cos theta. So this is the force F1, which is already we got because of the mass at the bottom, and because of these two masses, the force acting towards the center is 2F2 cos theta is equal to mv square by r, where you have to find the value of the velocity. So here you can do like this. See, so mv square by r is equal to F1 plus 2F2 cos theta. So this is the final equation what you will get. From this you can find, he is asking the speed of the particle, that is you have to find the value of v, as you can write F is equal to, F1 is equal to g into m square by 4r square, because the distance is 2r, plus 2F2, here F2 is g into m square by root 2r whole square, that is 2r square cos theta. So that is obviously 1 by root 2. So from this here, if you take the masses as common, the masses will get cancelled each other. So here you can write v square is equal to, here also you can take, obviously take gm by 2r square as common. If you take gm by 2r square as common, here there will be 1 by 2 plus 2 cos theta. So here you can write gm is equal to small g into r square. So you can write small g into r square by 2 into capital R square, what is present here, into 1 by 2 plus 2 into cos 45, which is obviously 1 by root 2. So here you can, from this equation, you can write the value of only the speed or the velocity v is equal to square root of gr square by 2r square into 1 by 2 plus 2 into 1 by root 2. So here, and that is the thing what we have done here, and we got the velocity v to be 1 by 2 times of square root of g into 1 plus 2 root 2. So next he is asking what is the relation in between the radius of curvature and focal length of a convex mirror. Obviously we know here the relation in between the focal length and also the radius of curvature is r is equal to 2 times of f, that is the radius of curvature, and capital R is equal to 2 times of focal length. So r is equal to 2 times of focal length. From this you can write f is equal to r by 2 and directly, but here in this problem if they have given in terms of signs, then he has given it as the convex mirror. Obviously the convex mirror, in the most general cases, both the values of f and r are been in positive, so obviously you will get the same relation. There is no change in the sign for the calculation of focal length. So that is f is equal to r by 2. Next he has given the problems based on the spectral lines of the 5 series of the spectral lines what we have for the single electron species, like the okay, so we have like the Lyman, Balmer, Paschen, Brackett and Piffin series. So here in the first case, this electron is jumping from n is equal to infinity to n is equal to 1, so this comes under the Lyman series, and this is the last line of the Lyman series. And if you consider this second one, this in this case of the spectral line B, in this the electron is been jumping from the 5th orbit to the 2nd orbit. Here the first spectral line, here for the first spectral line in this series, the electron has to jump from the 3rd, so it is the 3rd spectral line in this series. Next, if you consider this in the 3rd orbit, in this the first spectral line has to become when the electron jumps from the 4th to 5th, but here it comes from the next orbit, so it is the 2nd line. So obviously here, so the series line, so this is the series limit, so that is the maximum one in the case of the first series, that is Lyman. In the case of Balmer it is the 3rd line, in the case of the Paschen it is 2nd line, so it is option 1 in this. So in the problem number 16, where they have given this curve AB, BC and CA, in this process find the total work done in this encyclic process. They have given three processes here, those are isothermal, isobaric and isochoric. So in the isothermal process, the value of work done is equal to 2 times of nRT ln V2 by V1. So here what is the value of V2 and V1 from the graph A to B? Here the value of V1 is, it is equal to V1, and the value of V2 is 2V1. So 2V1 by V1, 2V1 by V1, that is simply 2. Next, in the graph B to C, here there is, this is, what is the process? This is the isobaric process. So that is the pressure into change in the volume. So here the change in the volume is pressure into change in the volume. So the change in the volume is from V1 minus 2V1, that is minus PV1. So that is, and the next from the C to A process, which is the isochoric process, where you have to consider the change in the volume. In this, at these 2 points there is same volume, so the change in the volume is 0. If you add these all, then you will get the total work done in the cyclic process, which is nRT into 2 ln 2 minus 1. So he has given in the 17th problem, if the value of intensity passing through a Polaroid is 100 lumen, now the same Polaroid is rotated by 30 degrees about its axis, find its new intensity after passing through it. So here what you have to consider here there is only one Polaroid through which the light has to travel, but here the most important property what you have to consider of the light is a transverse wave, which means it will have the vibrations in all directions. So when you place only one Polaroid, there won't be any change in the intensity of the light, so the intensity would be same, that is 100 lumen. Next, in the problem number 18, so this is the direct and theory question where he is asking to match in between these various quantities in the table A and in the table B. So these are the 4 process what he had given here. So first, if you consider that a adiabatic process, there is no change in the energy, so here the value of the heat content will remain constant. Second one is the isothermal process, so that is isothermal, that means same temperature, here the temperature will remain same. Second, the third one is the isochoric process, that is the volume has to remain constant. Fourth one is isobaric, the pressure has to remain same. So here he has given he is asking to find the relation in between the moment of inertia of 4 different objects, where I1 is the moment of inertia of ring of a mass about the diameter. So when the axis is passing through center and also perpendicular to the plane, the moment of inertia I is equal to mr square by 2. But here the axis is passing through the diameter. By using the perpendicular axis theorem, you can say the moment of inertia about the axis of diameter is mr square by 2. Next, the second one, I2 is the moment of inertia of a disc of mass m and radius passing through central axis and perpendicular to the plane. Here obviously it is mr square by 2. Next, in the third one, the moment of inertia of a solid cylinder. Here the solid cylinder can be considered as a group of the solid and the discs. So here the moment of inertia will remain same, that is I is equal to mr square by 2. While in the fourth case, the moment of inertia of a solid sphere about the diameter is 2 by 5 mr square. So if you check for all the options in this, here I1 plus I2, so this is I1 is equal to mr square by 2 and I2 is also equal to mr square by 2. So this in total becomes mr square. If you take I3, so that is also equal to mr square by 2, and I4 is 2 by 5 mr square. If you make it into 5 by 4, so this is 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 means mr square by 2 plus mr square by 2, so that is exactly equal to mr square. So this is option 1 in the same sense, and you can check for the other options too, but here this option chosen right here. So the next and the 20th problem what we have, he is asking the relation between the de Broglie wavelength of a proton which is having some mass and charge varies and inversely with the linear momentum. Obviously we have the relation which is set by the de Broglie, which will say the relation in between the particle nature and also the wave nature. So here the lambda is equal to h by p, so lambda is and inversely proportional to the linear momentum. So here it depends and it varies inversely. Okay, it is right. And the second statement is, as lambda increases, the energy and momentum increases. No, because here in the first statement it is proven right, the lambda is and inversely proportional. In this he is saying that lambda is directly proportional to the momentum, which is obviously wrong. Then if you come to the energy, E is equal to h mu, where h into c by lambda. So from this equation you can say that E is and inversely proportional to the wavelength. So this is also proven wrong. So here the statement 1 is true and statement 2 is false. So from this, and the Sarville and Takeoff over the class and he will explain the next 10 problems.
Okay.
Don't do that there. Come here. You should not do in front of the camera. Because they have told me I don't. Take it, sir. Sorry if I said anything wrong.
No, I understand, yeah. Okay, so I hope you understand the question number up to 20. Let's see what are the different question, and we will try to do the question orally. So there is a one question over here. If you see, for AC circuit we have 220 volt supply given to the primary. It means this is your primary voltage transformer and output is this much. So this is your secondary voltage, right? Using rectifier. If secondary number of turns is 12, then number of turns in the primary coil. So we have the formula that Vs over Vp equal to Ns over Np. They are asking for that how many secondary number of turns was there than the number of turns in the primary. So they are asking for the value of Np. So Np can be written as Ns times Vp over Vs. If you place the value, simple thing, nothing is going to be so difficult. The secondary number of coil is 24, primary is 220 over secondary was 12 voltage. If you solve, multiply by 2, the answer is 440. So this is your fill in the blanks and the answer has to be 440. The number of turns for the secondary primary has to be 440. Okay, you can refer to the solution. Now second question, find out the minimum force required to stop block from falling. Okay, so they are asking the question that you have to tell me the value of the force which is required so that this block may not fall. Now in this question, who will able to stop this thing? So you can see there is a one force over here. If you remember the free body diagram that we have done in our video sessions, so you know that since there is a contact maintained, so the normal force will be acting over here. So in x direction, definitely the force is maintaining the normal, but in y direction, if you see, there is a mass, and because of that mass there is a gravity which is acting downward, and opposite to the gravity there must be friction which is mu into n. In order to stop this thing, this value has to be equal to mg. So I can write like this. So mu is how much? Mu is given, that is 0.2 sorry, into times normal equal to 0.5 times 10. So normal is decimal cancel out, it has to be 5 times 5. So normal will be 25, and if normal is 25, opposite to that we know that this direction we have force, this direction we have normal, so force has to be 25. Simple problem, try to solve. Easy things we have already discussed in our video sessions and videos thing. Now in this case they have given the variable equation for the current, and variable means, remember, the differentiation or integration we have already discussed. They are asking find the number of charge flown through 0 to 15 seconds. Between 0 to 15 seconds, how many charges will be flowing? So if you remember the equation for the current, so current is change in charge over change in time. So dq can be written as I times dt, and integration of 0 to t, whatever the time limit they have given. Okay, so over here they have given 0 to 15, I they has given as 20t plus 8t square times dt. You integrate this thing, 10 by 2t square plus 8 by 3 t cube. That is going to be the relation. You place the value of 15 over here and you will get your answer. Simple thing, this is what you have to do. Okay, rest of the thing is that you have to fill your time and you have to get your answer. So your answer has to be 11250 coulomb. This much charge you have to get. Only thing which you have to do was to integrate this equation. Two planets are revolving around this value, so they have given the time period. So time period, and they are asking for the ratio of angular frequency. So if you remember the equation for time period and angular frequency, so we know that angular frequency is 2 pi f, or I can also write 2 pi over t. So over here you can say that time period is indirectly related to the omega. So whatever the time period may be, angular frequency will be just opposite to that. So you can directly, without wasting your time, you can say W1 over W2 will be 8 over 1. That's answer. Okay. Second, in this case, this is a question from communication devices. Okay, communication system. So in this case, this is a question for modulation. Modulation means when you have to send your signal from one place to another place, what do? We insert we provide some kind of carrier wave, and from there signal is transported. So in this case they have given amplitude modulation, okay, was happening, and percentage modulation index. So percentage modulation index is basically the ratio of this value over this value times 100. So if I just multiply, that is Vm over Vc times 100. 20 over 80 times 100 will give you 25%. That's your answer. This is what you have to fill in your solution. Simple problem based question. Okay, vertical cross section of plane is given. This is very good question. So instead of wasting a lot of the time, let's try to understand different formulas. This is your, if you remember, y equal to x square. Y equal to x square comes like this parabola equation. They have given this is your y, this is your x. So y equal to x square by 4 they have given. Now the coefficient of friction mu is given, that is 0.5, and if you remember guys, mu is also the tan theta. So that tan theta will also become this one, and tan theta is also the slope of the inequation. So dy over dx is equal to 0.5. Now what they are asking, the maximum height at which the particle can stay. So let's suppose this is the particle somewhere here. So maximum particle, what we can find the value of x from here. If we are able to find out the value of x, we will able to get that answer. Now what is the tan theta? Tan theta or mu is also called the limiting thing. Okay, what does it mean, the limiting thing? It means this is your angle. If you increase your angle, automatically this block will start sliding. So what does it mean? If I find the slope of this equation, that has to equal to this value. So if you find the dy over dx, it has to be 2 times of x over 4, 2 cancel. So dy over dx is equal to x by 2, which is already equal to 0.5. It means x has to be 1. And when the value of x equal to 1, the y has to, we know already the equation for the y, that y is equal to x square by 4. So y has to be 1 by 4. This is the value of y. Simple problem, relation based differentiation integration. Okay, second question. Two identical particles are having some mass, this collision is happening. They are asking what will be the ratio of V1 over V2 after collision. So what you can say, that conservation of momentum, everybody understand that conservation of momentum happening, but in this case conservation of momentum is taking place in two direction, x direction and y direction. So what you can say, that one velocity will be in this direction, mv1 into cosine 30 degree, and other velocity will be m into v1 sine 30 degree, and the same factor over here mv2 sine 30 degree, and in this direction mv2 cosine 30 degree. Now good thing is that in this direction we don't need to worry about whatever the momentum may be, but we know that initially the particles were moving in x direction, so the momentum will be conserved in y direction as well. So whatever this velocity will be, the same momentum has to be in this direction as well. So from here I can say mv1 sine 30 should be equal to mv2 sine 30. Every value cancel out, and v1 over v2 you are going to get 1. That's fast you have to solve in your JEE Main. Simple. Okay, now this is question based on the hydraulic lift. Hydraulic lift means that at same level the pressure remains same. So for example, what the question is saying, just read it out. 100 kg block hydraulic lift. Hydraulic lift works something like this. This may be your diameter d1, this is your diameter d2. Now what is the question they are saying? The block can be lifted by placing the mass of m. So let's suppose there is a block, this is 100 kg, this is your 100 kg. When you place the mass over m over here, you will get the equilibrium condition. So I can write, if this is the mass, so I can say that 100 times g divided by pi into d1 square. What is d1 square? Area. That has to be equal to m into g divided by d2 square with pi. Pi cancel out, g cancel out, so 100 over d1 square is equal to m over d2 square. This is my first equation. But in second case, what they are saying, that if a diameter of the piston placed at one end is increased by 4, it means they are saying that if this diameter becomes 4 times of d1 and the second piston is decreased by 4, it means the second diameter, new diameter become d2 by 4. So what will happen? How much the mass of new mass this, okay, how much mass of a new ball will be, which this mass will able to bear. So again you use the same equation. So I can write, I don't know how much that mass will be, so m dash o into g divided by pi into 4 times d1 square equal to m into g divided by pi into d2 over 4 whole square. Now when you square this value, this whole thing will square up, and so pi and pi cancel out, g and g cancel out, so m dash should be m over d2 square times 16 into 16 times d1 square. So 16 and 16 will give you 256, and m and d1 square over d2 square, and d1 over d2 square we got the value from here. d1 over d2 will be 100 by m, so I can place the value over here. 256 times m into 100 over m, m cancel out, the answer will be 256,000. So this much should be your answer for this solution. So now in this case the mass has, so up to this mass it can afford that. Simple. Electromagnetic wave propagates, simple equation based question. If you remember, C is equal to 1 over epsilon naught into mu naught, and velocity is basically 1 over any value. Let's suppose this is going to be ER times mu r. Okay, and ER is what? ER is something that it can be K into epsilon naught, and this can be K into mu naught. In this case they have given K1 and K2, which is 2 and 2, so I can say that this is going to be 1 over 2 into 2 into epsilon naught into mu naught, and this value is equal to C. So C by 2 will be, I guess, C is 3.3 into 10 to power 8 divided by 2 will give me, I guess, 1.5 into 10 to power 8. That has to be your answer in this solution. Simple question, simple based questions they are coming. Okay, AC circuit, they are asking for quality factor. Formula for the quality factor, you have to remember that quality factor is equal to basically your XL over R. Okay, so in this case they have given L, they have given the R, XL is omega times L over R. You can place, this is 2 pi F into L divided by R. You can place the value 2 pi into F. Frequency they have given is 10 megahertz to 10 into 10 to power 6 into L they have given, which is 2 into 10 to power minus 4 divided by R is 6.28. If you multiply these two value, 2 pi and 2 pi cancel out, and this is 10 to power 7, 10 to power this, so answer should be 2 into 10 to power 3. That has to be your quality factor. So if you are able to understand these kind of questions, you will be able to solve the questions. Okay, so try to download the app and try to solve as many as question you can do. Okay, so you have to be as fast as I am. Thank you. Sir, stop. Stop करो. हो गया ना?